join me in welcoming Sharif El-Gamal, founder and CEO of Soho Properties here in New York. Sharif is one of those inspiring globetrotters who not only is a great real estate developer, but also an entrepreneur who's always looking at where is the next opportunity. Sharif will discuss with us his thoughts on disruption and innovation in real estate. And he is, of course, with a very eager audience, having over 160 World Trade Centers represented here at our conference. And all of our World Trade Centers are, of course, unique real estate developments in their own right. So Sharif, welcome, and I will not take a second more of your time. Over to you.
Good morning, Robin, and good morning, everybody. I'm very honored and excited to be with all of you today from around the world that have joined in. Congratulations on the assemblage of your assembly this year under very unique circumstances. We are all getting together again. I think the first thing I would like to ask us all to question ourselves about is how we have reacted as business owners, as leaders, as employers, with respect to what is potentially the greatest disruption that we will ever experience in our life, and being a real estate developer and an investor and a landowner in what I consider the global capital of the world, which we are still reeling from the effects of COVID and from the challenges that we have all faced. I think that question is extremely relevant today as we move into a new era of communication and a new era of interaction. And I think that the option of working from home today and working from the beach or working from various parts of the world has really opened up our eyes that there is a revolution with respect to how we are interacting and how we need to evaluate our spaces today as the world is coming back into a more symbiotic ecosystem together. We have to start redefining our workplaces in order to start attracting and welcoming back our employees and our clients and various people, and the majority of you obviously having staked the ground with this organization are obviously thinking about what's on the future and what's on the horizon. The evolutions that we have experienced have really cemented that we need to repurpose our buildings, that we need to repurpose our hotels, that we have to rethink our condos, we have to rethink our infrastructure, and we have to understand how cities are going to bring back all the people that left to the suburbs and the rural areas where they, reconnected with nature and reconnected with different environments. I personally believe that this year we are going to start seeing the largest return of businesses back to their original workplaces, and people coming back to the cities that they deserted a year ago. And in order for us to reconnect and re-stimulate and re-energize all the people that are going to start flocking back to the cities, we need to start repurposing and rethinking our spaces and our physical spaces. And what is that going to mean for the office spaces? What is that going to mean for hotels? What is that going to mean for residential buildings? And ultimately, the infrastructure that's going to also need to be modernized as we are experiencing revolutions around clean energy, and we are witnessing a disruption right now in our mode of transportation, with electrical cars and with all the technology that has been submerged into our lives at such an incredibly rapid and accelerated pace. And so what I think is that offices today need to start providing various amenities and various meeting spaces that will really help foster connectivity amongst people. I also do believe that we need these social interactions in order to stimulate creativity, in order to welcome the new workforce that's coming in. The culture building cannot happen over a Zoom call. The culture building cannot happen over a phone call. And we will need our physical spaces in order to build those teams and those various cultural initiatives. With respect to the residential component, whether it's rentals or condos, I think our amenity spaces are going to need to change in a very big way. There's going to need to be wellness rooms, and we're going to need to start thinking about having facilities that will almost be like co-working spaces where people can walk down from their apartments and immediately plug into a space in their building or in their ecosystem that's walking distance from their apartment, in order to connect now into an environment that will be an extension of their home, but it will be a work environment, a collaborative work environment where they can invite others to come into meetings. The digital association that's also going to be required, I think, in the amenitization of buildings is something that we are studying aggressively right now as an organization, as we have a significant condo project that we are debuting later this year, and we feel that the spaces now are going to need to be larger overall on the office and on the residential side. We are also 40 days away from opening up the first resort in Times Square, and this resort is an urban resort, and it's the absolute ode to escapism, Margaritaville. And we're nervous and we're excited as we are about to open up a hotel and resort that will be right in the heart of Times Square on 40th and 7th, and I'm excited to invite each and every one of you to come to our opening and to visit us in the next couple of months, and to please come to New York. I know that Broadway is officially going to be opening in September. Our dining restrictions are getting lifted on May 5th. So there's a lot of exciting things happening around New York. But when we developed and we designed this hotel, we really thought about what is a hotel and a resort going to look like and need to provide in a post-COVID era. And we can't wait to debut it with you. And we're excited to have each and every one of you visit it. And lastly, hotel environments, I think, are going to need to rethink how they cater to clients as they come in. What really attracted us to the Margaritaville brand is that it really has a culture and an identity that was built around seducing the imagination of individuals through providing them an escapist Caribbean type of environment. And I'm using that just as a brand that really nailed it and hit it out of the park of being able to connect and attract a cult-like loyal following. But other brands also need to start thinking about what is going to be their differentiator as they start opening up their hotels and resorts around the world. People aren't going to want to go to graveyards anymore. People aren't going to want to go to hotels that are just rudimentary in the services and the offerings that they have. I think we've had enough of being cooped up and inside for so long. And, you know, what's akin to where we are today and where we were 100 years ago with the roaring 20s of the 1920s is that, you know, I personally do believe that we are about to experience an absolute global boom in travel, in leisure, even whether, you know, you can't fly, you're going to drive somewhere. As cities and as countries finally open up their borders and open up their doors, people are going to want to start visiting their families, visiting their loved ones, visiting their friends, and hotels need to start getting ready for that possibility of being able to cater and provide other services that we were not providing in the past. You know, and really the last most important concept, I believe, is, you know, the integration in our infrastructure on a national level and here in New York of real digital services, whether it's renewables, whether it's you know, various means and methods of further helping to accelerate how we're going to be transported into different communities. You know, we haven't been sitting in traffic jams for the last year. We've been able to have the comfort of getting on our computers and dialing into various portals. And so, you know, I don't think that we are going to tolerate any more traffic as human beings. We're really going to start realizing that our time, which is our most important commodity, needs to be respected in a different way with all of the abundance of technology that's available to us. And I think the real winners are going to be the ones that understand how to help integrate and redefine you know, the infrastructure patterns that have become a part of our DNA, and incorporating a digital and a renewable component to it. Because today, if we remember the typewriter, okay, which was a tool that, you know, many of us, I mean, I only used it for a little bit of time in my life when I was quite young. But when typewriters were around, that in essence is what all the cars are that we are using today. They're akin to typewriters, and we're about to witness, I believe, a transportation revolution. And I think that from a real estate aspect, there is going to be a requirement that we rethink our roads, our transportation systems, and how does that ultimately build into this new ecosystem of living, working, and playing?
Well, Sharif, I mean, fascinating, and there's so much food for thought here. But first of all, I'm very much looking forward to see the Margaritaville in Times Square open. And I say this with the greatest admiration on how you managed the construction and the completion of this grand project right in the middle of this pandemic. So very excited to see this come to fruition.
Thank you.
Any questions, please put them, and there are questions coming in the Q&A box. We will also put up a poll, and the two questions are, will commercial real estate bounce back? Second question is, the embracing of sustainability and safety will be critical success factors for future real estate developments. And this is something, Sharif, that you just mentioned, is like this future of mobility, the future of transportation. So how do you see the impact of sustainability? And I know it's a very broad notion, but if that comes to real estate developments in the future, will sustainability, safety, health in the workplace become a key success factor for projects?
Oh, 100%. I think that, as master plans, and in order to be competitive today, consumers are asking real questions about what is the energy that's coming into a building, what are the various filtration systems that are coming in. And with the technology that exists today on our mobile phones, I believe that we are going to become more advanced and more systemized in how we walk into a space, and how we ultimately are going to start designing buildings and master plans around communities. Electric cars are the future. And today, when you're building a master community or you're looking at a mixed use facility, it's going to be inherent upon you to start thinking about the renewable energies, and how can you incorporate that to be the more than 50% of your of the production of your energy that's coming in, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, whether it's various storage vehicles that are going, the storage units for electrical energy that are going to be coming in. I think that's going to be one of the first questions that we're going to question ourselves as developers, because we're not going to want to pay the excess energy costs. I think the second thing that is also inherently, going to be important is, our monetary systems are also starting to change today. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. It's not anymore. It's not anymore a fad or a product or a currency that cannot be recognized. And I think the adopters of cryptocurrency in their developments and being able to, whether you're buying a condo, whether you're leasing a space, whether you're transacting in a community, I believe that, being able to provide a tenant or being able to provide a business, the ability to transact in that currency is also going to make you a differentiator and give you another plus. And I think that this last year has really made us rethink and relearn the connectivity that we have to our portable devices and the interactions that we've had. Those are going to need to spill over into new communities and new buildings as they're built. And there's going to need to be a cultivation of environments that are conducive to extensions of your home, whether they're in the office. People aren't going to want to go back to the normal cubicle that they were in. Those days are gone. That will not be competitive anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another notion you I think hits really on the spot is the notion of purpose, and I'd like to sort of dig a little deeper into that. So, what is the purpose of place? The purpose of the workplace? We talk about flexibility, creativity, culture, there's safety. So, how can our World Trade Centers be ahead of the curve here? It's like what conceptually could the role be of a World Trade Center in defining that purpose of place, be it amenization of buildings or be it co-work spaces in a new format. So give us something, what vision, what future can our World Trade Center sort of project here and work on, get started to be ahead of the curve?
Well, I think you guys have a tremendous advantage with your global organization, first of all. I think that what has been established with the World Trade Center Association is unlike any organization in the world. And having this community that has been established around the world gives everybody the ability to, first of all, share ideas and get real live information of habits, of occupancies, of forums that are happening. And I think that the sharing of information among the organization is I think the first key component, that the sharing of information and just being able to tap into various various metrics of occupancy, of vacancy, of who's starting to come back. What is the demographic of the businesses that are coming back? I think that, information is key to making decisions. And, whether you have vacant space or whether you're fully occupied right now, I feel that the most important component is really rethinking the amenity space. There has to be a robust amenity package within a portfolio that isn't just a traditional amenity package. It needs to feel like an extension of your living room. There needs to be real rec rooms today that compete with, a great gym that we have here in New York is Equinox. And I think that today the facilities, because our bodies are the most important engine that drives everything. And so in order to have recreational facilities and gyms that are cutting edge, and then I think that, with what we've all experienced, there needs to be medical and wellness centers that are also incorporated, where people can immediately, get a perspective if they need, whether it's, and it needs to be holistic. It's not just physical, but it also should incorporate mental wellness as well. And I think that if we're able to provide, that 360 holistic experience where somebody can walk away from their desk and be able to go into an amenitized space that is not just for his office, but is for other tenants in the building, and having that recreational and that wellness space, we're going to find that the tenants and the workers are going to really want to reconnect with these environments, because they're not going to find that at home. We as landlords, particularly in the office space, need to be able to provide an experience that you're not going to find sitting at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And so an important question now, Sharif, we talked about differentiation and brand identity, and you mentioned licensing, like with Margaritaville. Talk to our World Trade Center is also licensees. This is a licensed brand. So talk to us a bit more about the importance of brand identity and what it can do, and the notion of licensing.
Well, I think that that's, again, one of the greatest differentiators that this organization has, being able to have the brand of the World Trade Center Association and that affiliation for a tenant, or for a user, or for somebody that's coming into a space that's being provided by the organization, elevates that brand ultimately into an elite global standing. And I think that you will find, especially here in New York with the World Trade Center, you will find some of the most important tenants have flocked into that. And that needs to be amplified when you're showcasing your product. And it's an absolute differentiator, Robin. People flock to brands, and this is an elite global brand that represents excellence. And it's the ability to connect with a global community. I don't know another organization that's as vibrant or as well diversified as the World Trade Center Association. And being able to leverage that as a tenant would exponentially give more power and more opportunities at the end of the day, no matter what business you're in.
Yeah. So, we're definitely growing rapidly and further diversifying our network. Many new licensees have joined us recently. So if anyone's looking to partner with a developer, an investor, Sharif, on a World Trade Center project, can they call you?
I would be honored. I would love to be of service. I think the perspective and the know-how that we've established here in New York for the last 20 years is shareable and duplicatable anywhere in the world. I'm very keen in learning more about Africa and other parts of the MENA region. I feel that is a real value add place around the globe today. And we would love to participate, give a New York City perspective from this concrete jungle where we've been playing and working and building for the last 20 years. So I think it would be very fun and exciting.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Your phone will be ringing. I take, and just to add that next year we will talk about that later in the program. But our General Assembly of next year will actually take place in Africa, and the year will be built around a pivot towards Africa. And this, I think, I agree with you, a continent with tremendous opportunity. So Sharif, maybe to as a final question. It's an open question. If you were to do a dream project, a visionary project, so what would it be and where would it be?
Wow, that's a really tough question. That's a really tough question.
And don't think about the financing aspect or the bankers at this point.
So no budget, no financial limitations. You know, I would really love to build an all-encompassing community where you know a project actually that you know I think is very intriguing and something that I would love to do and something that we spent a lot of time thinking about. You know, again, focusing on Africa, okay, in particular, because I spent a lot of time thinking about this. But I would really love to build an Africa house in New York City. Okay, I believe that, you know, the United Nations, when it was built, really helped bring the countries of the world together into New York. And when that happened, it increased trade. It, you know, when we have the UNGA week here in New York City, it's the greatest assemblage of leadership around the world. And I thought, you know, to myself that if we could build an Africa house, okay, a house that would be on par, you know, with the highest technology and representing every single country in Africa and representing all of the opportunities that exist within that country, okay, into an ecosystem where you would be able to, you know, represent everything from South Africa to Morocco, to Mauritania, to the Congo, to Nigeria. And I'm just, forgive me for the ones that I'm missing, but, you know, essentially grabbing each and every country in the continent of Africa and giving them a full floor with the most up-to-date technology where an investor, a family could learn more about that country, but where trade and business would happen in the capital of the world. You know, New York pre-COVID had over 131 million visitors and tourists and people that come to it. There is no gathering of people greater than in New York. So having that type of portal or window into that continent, I think would be invaluable. And, you know, that's a project that I've been thinking about and dreaming about.
Yeah, take note. And I remember we have talked about that in the past. So you know, but we'll see. I think it's a great vision. So thank you so much, Sharif. Let's just quickly look at the poll. Question one was commercial real estate will bounce back. Agree or disagree? Nobody really disagrees. The 43% is right in the middle. And about 18% says strongly agree. So the trend is definitely positive for commercial real estate to bounce back. And then whether the embracing of sustainability and safety will be a critical success factor for the future of real estate development. Basically, it's a 50% strongly agree and 50% agree. So that notion, what you brought up about sustainability and whether it's to do with mobility and repurposing of buildings is definitely the future. So with that, thank you so much, Sharif, for sharing your vision and insights here on the future of real estate, and especially on so many creative ideas. And I have a feeling you will be joining us sooner than later as a licensee, as a World Trade Center licensee as well. So thank you so much.
Robin, thank you for having me, and I wish you all the best of luck as you continue your assembly. And I'm confirming my RSVP for your event in Africa next year, Robin. So you can count on Soho Properties being a part of that.
Done and done. Thank you, Sharif.
Thank you, guys. All the best.
Thank you. So we will now move to the next session of today's program, Measurement, Social Wellbeing, and a Way Forward. So again, please click on the next button to go to the next session, and we'll see you back in just a few moments.